ignorance from our lives and trying to have a better appropriation and a better appreciation for the truth. All right, so we have academic actions, order towards academic goods, knowledge of the truth. And then lastly, academic commitments. What are the norms that govern university life? This is where things like the Princeton Honor Code come into play. Given the purpose and the nature of the university, there are certain commitments that we have to make to one another. We're not going to cheat in our tests. We're not going to plagiarize our papers. We're not going to data mine if we're a social scientist. Data mining is when you kind of only select the data that supports your case and you don't present the data that might call your case into question. We're going to publish all of our results and cite all of our sources so that other scholars can then look at our research and say, hey, I think you made a mistake. These norms are what help the academic process stay above ground. They prevent it from turning into ideology and indoctrination. All right, so that's the way to think about the academic community with academic actions, goods, and norms. How should we think about the marital community? What makes the marriage community different than a university, or different than a business, or different than an ordinary friendship? Robbie and I argue that marriage is a comprehensive union. And it's comprehensive in precisely those three ways. It's comprehensive in the action that spouses engage in. It's comprehensive in the good that spouses are ordered towards. And then it's comprehensive in the commitments that spouses make to each other. So what do we mean by this? We mean, first, that marriage is a comprehensive union that spouses engage in an act that unites them at all levels of their personhood. Second, it orders them towards a good that is comprehensive in the sense that it's not a discrete, intangible project like winning the next football game or passing the next test, but it's the creation and then the raising of new human life to the point of autonomy. And then third, it requires comprehensive commitments, a comprehensive commitment throughout time, the pledge of permanency, and a comprehensive commitment at every moment in time, the pledge of exclusivity. Let me unpack this. This will be the densest 10 minutes of this afternoon's lecture. All right, so first, there's a comprehensive action. Robbie, Sharif, and I were battering around this idea. Well, what does it mean to unite comprehensively with another person? And we said, all right, well, one thing that it would mean is that you have to unite at all levels of your humanity. You have to unite at all levels of your personhood. So then the question was, well, what are we as human beings? What are we as people? Are we just ghosts and machines? Are we just kind of like souls that inhabit bodies? Are we just consciousnesses that somehow relate to this physical, tangible reality? Or are we mind-body unities? Are we kind of like a dynamic, composite unity of both matter and mind, of soul and body, of consciousness and flesh? However you want to spin it, whether it's the Platonic dichotomy of soul and body or the Cartesian dichotomy of mind and matter, we come at it from an Aristotelian perspective, in which it's the unity of form and matter. That we're a dynamic unity. Which means to unite with another person, it won't just be an intellectual union, it won't just be an affective union, an emotional, romantic union, a union of hearts and minds. To be comprehensive, it also needs to be a bodily union. So to unite comprehensively with another person means uniting at all levels of your humanity. And since we are ourselves a unity of mind and emotion and body, our union with another person to be comprehensive would have to entail all of those aspects. All right, so then this raises the question of, well, what does it mean to unite bodily with another person? And to answer that question, we said, all right, well, what is it about myself that makes me one body? In a different context, you sometimes hear the argument made that an unborn child is just a clump of cells. We could have a lecture or a debate about that argument. But the shorthand is that that argument fails, and it fails for an obvious reason, is that the unborn child, like the born adult, isn't just a clump of cells. We're an integrated, coordinated network of organs and to make an organism, a union of organs that creates an organism. All of our various parts, whether it be our respiratory system or digestive system or our circulatory system, integrate with each other for the common good of our soul biological life. And so you can even see here we have organs that become part of systems. So the heart's the organ that's part of the circulatory system. The lungs are the organs that are part of the respiratory system. And so these systems are integrated to create a system out of various parts, but then these systems themselves integrate and coordinate with each other to form an organic unity known as you and me. And now all of the systems that I just mentioned, we're each complete as an individual. Every one of us right now is respirating on our own. We're inhaling, we're exhaling. We're all circulating blood on our own. We're inhaling that oxygen, and our heart is pumping oxygenated blood throughout our system. When we're done this lecture, we will all get up, and locomotion will be performed as individuals. We'll walk out of here to our dining halls and eating clubs. And then digestion will take place as individuals. We're complete in all of those ways as individual bodies. There's one respect in which we're radically incomplete, in which we're each half of a potential larger whole. And this is the way in which Robbie Sharif and I argue that true people can unite as one flesh. That when the Hebrew scriptures talk about the two becoming one flesh, they're not simply speaking poetically or metaphorically. They're actually revealing something that's true about human nature at the physical and the metaphysical level. That when a man and a woman unite in a conjugal act, they truly become one entity with respect to one function, procreation. Which is why the act that makes a man and a woman husband and wife can also make them mother and father. This tells us something about the act that spouses engage in that's distinctive of marriage, points directly towards the marital good. In the same way that academic actions are ordered towards academic goods, so too the lovemaking act is ordered towards the life-giving act. It's the same act. The act that consummates a marriage can also create new life. The marital act unites a man and a woman so completely, so comprehensively, that 9 months later it might require a name. And this tells us something, and the nervous laughter shows that we all get this at some intuitive level, that there is something distinctive about this act, that it's both an act that unites a man and a woman as husband and wife, and that has that potential to make them a mother and a father. We then argue that that's a comprehensive good, that all the various other goods we can pursue in life are going to be more discrete, more tangible, more limited. Graduating from Princeton is a great good, but it's not comprehensive. Passing your next test, winning the next lacrosse game, getting into the law school, med school of your choice, making partner at the law firm, becoming chief of pediatrics at your hospital, those are all great things, but they aren't going to be the centerpiece of your vocation. They won't be something that shapes the entirety of how you pursue every other good in your life. And yet marriage and then parenthood will. The demands that marriage places upon spouses and how they relate to each other and in how they relate to their children will actually shape the way that you pursue graduate school. Should you get married and have children before finishing your graduate career, before you make partner at your law firm. The project of actually raising your child will entail partnership between husband and wife, mother and father, to help a child appreciate human goodness in all of its forms. And so you can see this being a comprehensive good, that it will require the spouses to cooperate in rearing a child to a stage of relative autonomy, in which that child can appreciate truth and beauty and goodness and knowledge and all the various things that we would say make for a flourishing life. So it gives marriage its comprehensive trajectory. All right, and so then lastly, we have comprehensive acts, comprehensive goods. It leads to comprehensive commitments. Spouses make commitments to one another that ordinary consenting adult relationships don't require. So one, there's going to be a comprehensive commitment throughout time, and that's the pledge of permanency. Ordinary friendships, unions of hearts and minds, don't require a till death do us part commitment. Princeton didn't require you make that sort of commitment to your freshman year roommate. Would it be fitting, given the type of relationship that roommates are pursuing? It's fitting in the marital context precisely because of a comprehensive union ordered towards comprehensive goods. Likewise, marriage calls for an exclusive commitment. And the type of exclusivity that marriage calls for is sexual exclusivity. Again, because it's that sexual act, it's the marital act that unites a man and a woman as husband and wife. And that's the act that's reserved for the marital relationship. So none of you are cheating on your spouses right now by engaging in intellectual action without them. Marriage doesn't call for academic exclusivity. If you go to Dylan Gym after this and you work out with someone other than your spouse, you're not cheating. If you sleep with someone other than your spouse tonight, you would be cheating. The type of exclusivity that marriage calls for is sexual exclusivity, because the nature of the marital relationship being a comprehensive union, this is the act that is specific to marriage. Now, Robbie Streiff and I, we think this account, this philosophy of marriage, can better explain both the theory and the practice of marriage than the alternative accounts. We think that Professor Carino's account has a lot going for it, but it ultimately fails. And we think that this account isn't something that's just unique to the three of us. It's not just unique to the natural law tradition. That we can see something like this in ancient Greek and ancient Roman philosophies. We see it in both the Jewish, the Christian, and the Islamic theological traditions. We see it in Enlightenment thinkers like John Locke and Immanuel Kant. We see it in Eastern thinkers like Gandhi. They don't all articulate it this way. They don't borrow our Aristotelian jargon or our Aristotelian framework. But when you read their writings, they're groping at something that looks like this, with greater or lesser success, with disagreements around the margins. But this is the reality, marriage reality that we think they're getting at. All right, so the second part of the talk. Now I'm going to take off my jacket because I don't think the AC is on yet. Got a little warm. All right, so the second part of the talk. Why does it matter, and why does it matter as a policy matter? So my PhD is in political philosophy. I work at a public policy think tank. I'm going to approach this question from why is government in the marriage business? What does it make a difference to our political community? Other people could give you an argument about why marriage matters as a sacramental or a covenantal reality. And so if you had a theologian in here, they might give you a different explanation for why marriage matters to the common good, to a religious common good, a sacred common good. Here I want to talk about a civil